And we are recording.
Oh my god.
Yeah!
You will buy this item, old man. 115% is as low as I'll go. You cannot haggle for this fucking steel sword. God. And he still denies me.
Anyway, well, we had this review out pretty much almost 24 hours. Mainly reason, well, last night we played 3 maps in a row, and we recorded all 3 of those maps, thinking that they were all pretty short. Given, as we went along, yes, they started getting shorter and shorter. All at the same time, all 3 maps started to go duller and duller too. They weren't as good as the previous one before it. We're gonna start out with our first one, which was Dead Series. We're gonna put all the reviews of each map we did, and we're making it in one giant video. So,
Isn't this like the first time we've ever actually done that?
this will be the first time we've ever done a review sense. It's
I
not.
honestly think we could just split the reviews into 3 different reviews. It's fine.
Well, basically, I'm just gonna combine them all into one giant video, and I'm gonna put.
I think the point I'm trying to make is that I don't think anyone's going to be willing to sit through all the videos. It's going to be willing to sit through an hour of review. I think that if we just split up into 3 videos, it'll be a lot easier too.
This
I
is-
would kind of agree with Meta. I mean, I know
Well,
most people don't even go to most of mine, and they don't even get to the first hour.
Well, I like to mention that most of our reviews are usually a half hour long anyway. That's the sad thing. So at this point, I'm kind of making them go through the entire video if I do it this way. It's just me.
Please,
And I
let's
don't-
not do that. Let's not do that to
Well,
them.
I'm not going to frickin' split this up until after I do editing, so don't worry about it. I'll decide when I start editing. Fair enough?
What, you're gonna decide if it's long enough to split up or not?
Yeah. If this turns out we only do 30 minutes, I'm just uploading it as one. If this takes an hour and a half, I'll decide if I want to split it up or not. I'm the one that's doing the reviews. I'll decide how I want to upload it, okay? That aside, let's get back to the review, shall we?
I thought we were going to restart the recording.
No, because I'm still within the recording. So, hey, everybody.
All right, we're doing it live.
Yeah, fuck it, we're doing it live. Anyway, first map, which was called Dead Series. First impressions of the map. Did you guys think about it? What did you think? If you can remember.
I thought it had
It
a lot
was
of
meh.
interesting ideas.
Okay.
I thought it was.
To me.
I thought it was actually pretty good, pretty well executed. I could actually tell which direction I was going
All right.
most of the time, and I thought it had a lot of interesting things to look at.
Anybody else want to add on to that? I don't think anybody has anything to say. All right. I guess we'll just go to the review of that one. I guess now. 5 stars max, 1 star minimum. Dead Series. Number of infected. There was 1,800 zombies that we killed in that one.
1800?
Yeah, that was the first one. It was also the longest of being 4 parts. But so Meta, we'll start with you. Just same rotation like always. What'd you think about the number of infected?
Oh, it's hard to recall exactly what happened last night. But I think the number infected is pretty good overall. I don't think we were breezing through it, but I don't think we were really overwhelmed at the same time. So it fits perfectly. I'm going to give it a full star.
All right. Gil.
I'm gonna give it a full star.
Straight and simple. Dread.
I'll give it a 3/4.
Any reason?
Bland to me.
Oh, okay. It's the first time I ever heard bland infected, but all right. I'm gonna give it a full star. I didn't think the infected was too much of a problem. I didn't think it got overpowering. It was pretty much fair for the most part. The only problem I may have had maybe with it was sometimes you didn't have the ammo when you needed it. That's really it. And without that, it does kind of hit that overwhelming match. But we did have melee, so it kind of evened itself.
It was bearable.
It was bearable, so I can't really knock it for that. So yeah, it wasn't too overwhelming. Moving on to length. This map was 4 parts, but it took us about an hour. In fact, it was just 58 minutes. It's not too bad. What'd you think about that, Meta?
What'd you say the time? I blanked
58.
out.
58 minutes.
Oh yeah, I remember. Dude, that's about an hour for what? 3 maps?
4 part.
4-part map. Oh
Yeah.
wow, it felt like 3. Yeah, that feels like that. Actually, for 4, I would probably tack an extra 15 minutes onto there. So it is kind of short. It definitely does feel a tad bit short.
Mm-hmm.
That said, it doesn't feel like any of the segments really dragged out. So I felt like it felt like it was good pacing.
Okay.
So I think I will give it I'll give it a full star.
Sure. All right. Kyo.
No, I thought it was all good time-wise, personally. So I'll get a full star.
All right. Dread.
I'll give it a full star. The time was okay.
All right, and I will too. The time is just almost right. I don't mind if a 4-part map gets an hour. It kind of feels okay at that point. 15 minutes per part, not too bad. But at times it did have the shortness, and I think we did have a restart at one point in the map where we just all failed.
We had 1 restart.
So even with that, I don't know how long that first one where we restarted and had to go back it took us. But I'll dock it 10 minutes off that. Even with that, it's still pretty good. It didn't have too many short segments. It didn't have too many prolonging segments of artificial time. Overall, it's pretty good in length. Moving on to difficulty. Now, this one you got to go off your head. So, Meta, what'd you think about difficulty?
The difficulty was fitting. I didn't think at any time, once again, I didn't think at any time the common infected were letting up on us, and now we were just running through the stages easily. I also felt that the stage kind of provided difficulty in some areas.
Okay.
Perhaps, maybe. It really is fuzzy. So I'm going to give this one a 3/4 of a star. It's hard for me to be able to
Remember
accurate-
remember
Yes.
everything, because it is the first one we did. It's also the longest one we did. There's not a whole lot of memorable segments out of that one. Moving
Actually,
on. Well,
that's the
unless
one
you can
with the fire with the firefly cave, right?
It was the first one. It would be the one where we have to stop the fire.
Oh yeah,
It was that place. That's the only problem I had with difficulty, if anything.
yeah. Which
But-
one was the one with the firefly cave? Is that the next map or the one after?
That was the second one, yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. God.
Kyo.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
What-
like,
Yes.
I mean, I'd love to put yes on this little notepad I have here, but what's the star rating?
the star rating for this.
The star rating is yes.
It is yes. I'll give it a full star.
All right, Dread.
I'll give it 3/4. Wasn't really much to go on.
Okay. I agree with meta and dread with the 3/4. There are segments that could really help the player out. Really, it's mainly that fire one. I think you got it going too fast when you only give us a minute of time, and even at that, there are some glitches. I think Dread fell down and killed. He just died. We didn't even know why until he told us. And this is when the fire was off. He said he was on fire.
I didn't even see fire. All I just saw were jets of air.
Well, yeah, you were dead though. See, that's a glitch. We don't.
And during that part, my frame rate was just going to shit.
Well, that's part of design though. Same with the glitch. It is also going to go into design, but that could really hurt the team in terms of difficulty. It does affect both ways. And besides that, there were parts where there just wasn't any ammo for us, or there wasn't enough health for us. It could, like, throw in a couple pill bottles in there, or maybe an adrenaline shot. Stuff like that would help. Maybe we just were having a bad round. I don't know. But I know there was a couple of times I was black and white, and for a long segment of time, too. So, yeah. That's where I stand. Moving on to design. Meta, what'd you think about this one?
Oh, God. I don't remember it that well. I feel so bad. I'm sorry.
Well, I can try to feed you some of the stuff. There was
It was a lot of interesting things.
It was a lot prettier to look at than the other two. That was the first thing. The second thing, this also had the barnyard area. It did have the city area, if I remember correctly, where with.
Did that have the one thing where the safe room was in a box on a crane?
Yeah, there was that. There was a couple interesting things about this one that made it kind of cool in a sense. But that's up to you. If you can remember those segments, that's pretty much all.
It also had a lot of pretty good map navigation things, I thought.
There was that too.
Yeah, navigation was pretty good, but not a lot of But I think the reason why I don't remember it all is because not a lot of it was memorable.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna give this one half a star.
All right.
It's good navigation, but not
memorable.
Not memorable.
Okay. Kyo.
I'll give it a full star. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I tend to just forget most of the maps we do the day after anyway.
Okay.
Because, one, it's Left 4 Dead 2. It's not that important, technically.
Yeah.
And
there's very few maps that I still remember where everything is. Outside of the...
I'll review this as if it was still... We'll review it immediately after. I would give it a full star.
Alright. Dread.
I give it a 0.
Okay. I think we understand why you didn't like it.
Everything was bland to me. I got left behind when anything actually interesting was happening. All I saw was the generic shit.
Well, to be fair though, Dread, like half of that time you were in there with us, you were like idle. We just kept going because you kept going idle.
It's because I was still loading.
No. We were in the middle. We were in the middle of going to the the second to last safe room, and you went idle. That was the one with the crane.
I didn't go idle.
No, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that because I have recording evidence of that.
Whatever, don't care. Still 0.
Okay.
Boring piece of shit.
All right. I'm gonna give this half a star. My reasoning is it does have a pretty bad glitch that can kill people. There is the fact that yes, it does have a certain blandness to it. It's not a really big one. It's still got an original thought to it. It does have like different pathways that you could take, and one of them could be very rewarding. The other one couldn't. And then I do like how you set up the safe rooms. It's really kind of cool in a sense to have one in a boxcar that's on a crane that you have to lower down. Only problem I have with it that is artificial time, and I don't like artificial time too much. The barnyard scene, that was nice. The idea to have dynamite and stuff like that was kind of cool. For the most part, it was good. But still, the glitch kind of hurts it, and it does have that blandness to it. It's like I've seen it before already. So, anyways, moving on to recommendations. Meta, would you recommend it?
No, I would not.
Okay. Any specific reason why? I know you're trying to think hard on this one.
Probably because it's not memorable. But I think that's my only complaint. I don't remember a lot of it, but then again, it's hard to exactly recall all the Left 4 Dead 2 maps that I've been playing.
Yeah.
Except very few.
Yeah.
Stuff like Helm's Deep Reborn and Salt Hell Park.
Some that stands out above the rest, yeah.
Yes.
Alright.
Again, that's its problem. It doesn't really stand out.
Okay.
That's why I wouldn't recommend it.
Alright. Kyo.
Can you guess what I'm going to say? I recommend it, I do. And there's enough going for it. I thought it was a pretty good map. It is worth playing.
Alright. I'm guessing, Dredd, you're gonna say no on this.
No, it's boring, bland, and stupid.
And I'm gonna go in between you guys. I'm gonna say half a star for this. I recommend it for a try. Give it a try. See how you like it. It can be memorable if you look at certain areas of it. It can also be very bland, as what Dredd said. It's really preference, really, and yeah, it's not too bad. Anyway,
You know what? Give it a try as well.
Mm-hmm.
Half a star.
All right, I'll change your score then. So with that said, Kyo, you gave it the full 5 stars for Dead series. Let's see. Meta, you gave it 3 3/4. I gave it 3 3/4, and Dredd, you gave it 2.5. It is an average map. It doesn't have a whole lot of memorable scenes. Some of them are a little bit memorable if you kind of shake away the fuzziness of the map. But yeah, it's not up to the more memorable maps out there, like Helm's Deep. I know Helm's Deep is probably one of the more well-known survival maps out there. Main reason is they took a lot of time and effort to make it memorable, whereas this one,
There's a lot of stuff in Helm's Deep.
well, yeah, I'm not saying that there isn't, Dread. I'm saying that there's a lot more time and effort put into it. This one, it does have the time and effort put into it. It's just not standing out. That's the only problem it has, and it could use a little bit more work. The glitch needs to be taken down. I'm thinking also the fire, just before we get to that crane safe room, that needs to be adjusted to maybe last a little longer than a minute. That's just my belief, because it can, in fact, hurt you in the end. If you're not fast enough, someone could be black and white and there's just no health around. So, yeah, it's just stuff like that. Anyway,
Well, that wasn't that far out of the safe room, though.
yeah, I know. I'm saying,
Quite that soon out of the safe room.
yeah, but I'm saying, think about it this way: someone is already activated just to keep moving forward, and your character, whoever you're playing as, is black and white and is slowed. If they activated and you just got there, it's going to take you longer than a minute to get by that area, unless you start doing a lot of fucking platforming and dodging that fire, because it will come back. So it's stuff like that. So yeah, that's Dead series. We're gonna move on to map 2, which was Chaos Theory. This one I remember a lot of it because there was a lot of bullshit things about it. I know that because, well, let's see, we had smokers that were inside cages, but they're not just one. There was about, what, 6, 7 of them.
Well, there's one poor towel.
Yeah, there was the teleporting thing, which was kind of nice, but you can get lost. There was also the fact that the finale area, which that is also in the finale, the plane kind of takes too long. The house, though nice, it has Zoe in it. It turns into a fucking tank.
I thought that was the last one.
No. DMRs Quickie had the blimp, dude.
Oh, right. You're right.
It does have some funny moments, like you see the mutated form of a jockey tank combination, which that's just hilarious. Then you see the boomer sitting on a toilet. There's some funny moments, but there's just a lot of problems with it because it really started out pretty fucking hard, and there's an added element that you can literally turn on chaos mode.
Which I think we did, I feel
I
like.
think the first one we did, the rest of it we said, no, we're not doing that shit again, because we
Which
barely
might
made it the first
explain
time.
the amount of those smokers.
Yeah, and we barely made it the first time. That first part of that map, we just barely made it, all of us. So, well, I think 3 of us. I don't think Dread actually made it through that. So anyway, any more things to add to that? What did you think about it? If you can remember. I know a lot more of it.
There was an
God.
extreme lack of melees.
Oh, yeah, there was an extreme lack of melees.
But keep in mind, it was a port.
Not a very good port.
That's
Well,
true.
I have to say, they at least remembered to put in AKs and scars and all these other nice little Left 4 Dead 2 weapons. It's just the melees they kind of skimped on.
Yeah. Anything else to add?
There were a lot of segments where we had to ascend, and zombies plus ascending equals block. I'll get more into that later.
Alright. No one else wants to add anything to it? I'll take that as a no. Anyway, we're going to move on to review of Chaos Theory. 5 stars max, 1 star minimum. Number of infected meta. There were 1,744 zombies by the end we finished it. What do you think about that?
What do I think about 1,744 zombies in that entire campaign? You really want to fucking know what
I just want to
think about that?
I need to add on to this. This was a 40-minute map, 3-part map too. Just keep that in mind because this does affect number 1 here.
It was okay. I think a lot of my problems have to do with just the overall design of the level, and I guess now that I think about it, how kind of bland it is.
Okay.
Although it does have a lot of interesting ideas, it is kind of it sometimes. Well, I'll get into that later. So, infected, not actually a big a problem. So, they weren't overwhelming, and they weren't a breeze to get through. So, full star.
Alright, Kyo.
Let's see. I'll give it a full star. It had the proper number. It mapped us 40 minutes long, and we got through it, didn't we?
Dread.
I'll give it a false star. The only gripe I have with it is at the beginning when there were so many zombies that they were actually blocking you on the ladders in the beginning.
That is true. This is where I'm kind of having the problem with it. I'm going to give it 3/4. For the most part, zombies are not too much of a problem. The common infected is easy to deal with. The main problem was the smokers, really, because they can really screw things up for you.
Well, I think
with those smokers, you kind of need a sniper rifle.
Well, yeah, but I'm not done with this yet. There is also the added fact that we end up pressing the chaos mode, which is supposed to be expert difficulty. I'm amazed that we made it through that first part.
I don't even think we actually activated it. It was kind of hard to tell.
It was really hard to tell.
Well,
Which
it
is
wasn't
weird.
glowing when we left like it would be if you could click it, so...
Yeah, and this is what I'm wondering is why the curator put it in there in the first place if the map already felt pretty hard as it is. I understand, okay, if there's a horde, there's an alarm going off, yeah, that makes sense of being overwhelming. There wasn't really an alarm going off here. There was just constant hordes being spawned, constant specials being spawned. There was a tank in the first part. As soon as we got up the ladder, it spawned. Then there's a target we have to hit to open the safe room. It's really the first part of this one really changed the difficulty from what we felt was normal to hard. And it almost felt overwhelming in the first part. But the rest of the other two maps were perfectly fine. It almost balanced itself out. That's why I'm giving it 3/4 and not like a half a star. But I can't really give it the full one. I don't know if we did press the button. I know I didn't. I don't know if any of us have. But after that, we kept every map after that. We got the little button to say, "Would you like to disable chaos mode?" And we immediately pressed that because yeah, we don't want that. And that's what left me having the assumption that we did press it. So I can't accurately judge it based on that because I don't know if we did hit it or not. But if we did, that first part would be the prime example if we did. So I'm going to give it 3/4. Moving on to length, it was 40 minutes. It was a 3-part map. Meta, what do you think about the length of campaign?
3-part map, 43 minutes.
40 minutes.
40 minutes. Okay.
Mhm.
That seems appropriate, honestly.
Yeah, we did have one restart, the finale.
Yeah, we did. But even then, for 3 parts, 30 minutes. If you take off 10 minutes, that's still 30 minutes. So I feel this is an appropriate length, and I will give it a full star.
All right. Kyo.
I'll give it a full star.
Dread.
I'll give it 3/4 because we did have that restart at the finale, and if the beginning wasn't so hectic with common, it probably would have taken a few minutes off.
All right. I'm gonna give it half. There's a couple of reasons why. One, yeah, it was the beginning. That is really prolonged, and I don't know if we fucked ourselves over on that or what. But that's the first part. There is also one other part. It's the finale. If it's not bad if you just go straight to the finale, have the plane, fuel it up, and then kind of wait it out, start the event. But it's prior to that is where we have the teleportation area. It reminds me of the teleportation from like the very first Pokemon games, where if you're in I think it was the Psychic Gym, and you have to teleport around
Saffron City.
Yeah, Saffron City. You have to teleport around and try to get to the boss, which is fine. I did like that, and I liked how they were color coded. Only problem is that we just kept trying until we find out what it is. It's trial and error, and that's pretty much artificial lengthening each time we fail. And this is where it could really hurt our time, because I think the first time it took us like 15 minutes just to finally figure out the puzzle, to get through it all. And given, yes, there's a couple of funny moments, that is where the jockey tank is. That is also where the boomer sitting on a toilet is. Those parts are funny, and I did like that part. It's very innovative. It's just lengthening it up longer and longer, and it's just annoying at that point. And at the finale, it did kind of feel a bit long. It's just me, but I think it's because there really wasn't anything else to look at. We were just kind of, okay, we see the house, we investigated the entire house, took everything we can, found the Zoe that turns into a tank, which is kind of funny. But other than that, it just was very long. It was very lackluster in a lot of the sense, because it is a big open area. It's just the length of it could have been a lot shorter. The teleportations, if you got it in the first try, would have taken you a couple of minutes. The same thing with the beginning. If we just brushed through it, hit the target, moved on, it would have taken us maybe 5 minutes, because it really wasn't that long. So all in all, I'm just gonna give that a half a star. There's a lot of parts where we could have just cut a lot of time on. Moving on to difficulty. Meta, what'd you think about difficulty of this map?
Difficulty. Well, it wasn't hard. It wasn't easy either. I'm gonna give that a full star.
All right.
See,
Q.
what do I want to give this? I feel like half a star is the appropriate one, so I'll go with that.
All right. Dread.
I'll give it a half.
All right. I'm gonna give us 3/4. I can justify the difficulty a little better here. It goes back to the teleportation point. If we finished it, there pretty much was a restock of any gun you wanted, laser sights. I think there was even throwing items like bile, pipe bombs, Molotovs. There was adrenaline pills, med packs. There was all that. So it rewarded you to get through that. The finale, the house had a lot of health items when you needed it. Even Zoe, when she's going outside to turn into the tank, she has a med pack that you can take off of her. Let's see. The beginning, yes, it was tough, but it wasn't like too difficult that we couldn't last through it. It just was really long, painfully long in a sense. And the second part, I think it was pretty fair. So, yeah, I'm gonna give it 3/4. It just, the amount of infected did justify the amount of health we got. Moving on to design. Meta, what you think about this design?
I don't like Ascension. I don't like Ascension in Left 4 Dead 2 in general.
Okay.
I don't like that. It's just not an engine that was made for this sort of thing. I don't like that those zombies could clog up the ladder. I don't like that they can do that. One person has to stay down and they have to shoot them off, which I guess is effective and a good way to get through it.
Yeah.
But aside from that, in the beginning, we kind of had this, say, amnesia sort of feel when we were going through the cages full of smokers. And I was thinking to myself, you know, what kind of place is this that we're in? Is this supposed to be like a lab of some sort? And I guess it is supposed to be some sort of lab.
Yeah, I remember seeing a laboratory in this.
It just looks, but the lab looks very muddy and kind of blick. There's just not a lot to look at in this campaign. And there's a segment specifically where you have to get through teleporters. And it's really hard to navigate those teleporters because it's supposed to be a maze involving teleporters. By the by, you don't make mazes involving teleporters. I'm pretty sure there's a good reason for this. But anytime we would go through them, it just ended up being very confusing. We probably wouldn't have been stuck there forever if Knight hadn't realized what the actual pattern was.
Yeah.
What makes it even more difficult is that sometimes when you go through the teleporter, you don't even arrive at the same place over and over. You arrive at a completely different location altogether. It's like maybe this one teleporter will go to this one certain location. No. You go for that teleporter, it randomizes where you get teleported to, making it that much more of a maze. And it gets annoying.
Yeah.
Now, a regular maze, like one that you just run through, that's navigatable.
Well, yeah, and that happened in the second part.
That maze isn't constantly changing. It's not. Its layout isn't changing constantly as you're traveling through it.
Mhm.
This maze, on the other hand, is. It is. And I think that's what I hate about that part in particular.
Okay.
And then the final part is just. I guess I like the room, the small little makeshift theater room,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much about it.
With the stupid TV.
Yes. And I guess Zoe walking outside and then her, I guess, becoming a tank.
Well, that's been kind of a joke with her, that she, out of the first Left 4 Dead survivors, that she would become a tank. I don't know why that's a joke. They did that back in Left 4 Dead 1 days.
But so I'm thinking maybe I gotta go with a half a star. Well, you know what? No, not half a star. I'm gonna go with a quarter of a star.
Alright, Q.
See, let's think back to that. There was the maze,
Yes.
which is predictable and not random. I disagree with you there. Because every time I went through, so this one takes me to this room. I never experienced the randomness unless it glitched for you.
It probably did glitch for me. Maybe I just didn't realize where I was being teleported
Mm-hmm.
half the time.
But I kind of like that myself.
Like if it were just that, if it were just that, the maze would be fine. But for me, it wasn't. So I'm just basing it on experience.
I'll give it half a star.
Alright. Dread.
What part is this one again?
Design.
Design was a little iffy. The only thing that was really interesting was the caves, so I guess I'll give it half.
Sadly, I'm actually going to go above you guys. I like some of the ideas this map had. I didn't mind the idea of having like the bullseye be in the first part be the way to open the safe room area, it's kind of a unique idea. It's annoying when there's zombies around you, but again, it's not a bad idea to it, because that's a trigger. And then I didn't mind the teleporters. The only problem I really had with the teleporters is that you only could go one at a time, and you couldn't be near it. Otherwise, if two you went at the same time, they'll bump back into each other, and you'll end up going that same teleporter, which will knock you right back out, or put you back in the previous room. And that's where you feel that randomness, Meta, and that's why I think you did, because you got knocked back quite a few times. I did like that they're color coded. I did like that if you found the pattern, you can navigate your way through it. But the only problem I had with it is, again, it's just prolonging the map. It's just artificial time if you don't know what the hell you're doing. Because I know it took me 15 minutes at least just to try to navigate through it the first time. And even then, when we failed that first attempt at the finale, we came back, I was still trying to figure it out again because I had forgotten how to get through it. I like the idea that you have like a lot of teleporters. It reminds me of the Saffron City Gym, but at the same time, there's just too many, and it can really disorient you. It can lead you back to square one, and really that's kind of unfair, especially since you have to go through this. You don't have much of a choice.
Well, you don't have to go through. You could just skip through it, because there's still enough med packs and weapons above.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you have to go through it just to get to above, though, Dread. Because there was no other way of getting out to go to the finale area. At least I didn't see any way.
First time while you guys were figuring it out, I was already outside that area.
Yeah, but that's where you screwed yourself over, too. You died in that in that finale area. That's the problem. And we were trying to get health for each other. That was another thing. But yeah, there is a lot of things that could be worked on. The teleporting thing, I like it. It's very innovative. It could just needs to be reworked. And the main, it could be as simple as just widening it up a bit so that way you don't get knocked back into teleporter or something like that. I don't know. That's really all I had a problem with when it comes to design. Everything else was okay with me. It didn't bother me. We're going to move on to recommendations. Meta, would you recommend this map?
No,
No?
not even for a playthrough. I don't think there's a lot to it. I don't think there's enough to give this a real recommendation.
Okay. Kyo, would you recommend this?
I like the concepts in the map. I'll give it that. Should people play it though? No.
So
These
0?
concepts should be integrated into a battle map somewhere later on.
So 0?
Yeah. It's a great concept map.
Okay.
But has a map? No.
Alright. Dread.
No, not. The only thing that was interesting was the cave, and I don't think that warrants playing it.
Okay. I gotta disagree with you guys. I actually say it deserves at least one playthrough from somebody. I'll give it a quarter of a star. I agree that the concepts and ideas that this map had need a lot more work. And they need to be in a different map. It doesn't really work with the name. It doesn't really work with pretty much the idea you were trying to go with. If you started with the first one and kind of stayed with, okay, this has some traps, it has some
A medieval feel.
a medieval feel, like you're coming out of a dungeon and trying to get yourself out, and there's hordes of monsters in your way, kind of feeling to it. And it worked out from the very start. It just didn't go all the way
As soon as
through.
we went up the ladders, we're like, oh, this isn't a medieval map.
No longer, yeah. It lost what it was trying to go for, I believe. I didn't mind the teleporter thing. It just doesn't fit in this map. I didn't mind the bullseye thing. It felt like a mini game, though. It doesn't belong in a Left 4 Dead map. Outside of, well, Dark Carnival. I didn't mind a lot of these things that were in this map. The Zoe turning into a tank, the home theater area, seeing the laboratory having all the special infected in the pods. They're all dead versions of them, but there's a lot of good, cool, interesting things to look at. It's just that they don't really belong in this one because it felt like the theme was going all over the place. In terms of design of the map, it was really well executed in terms of pathway. There really wasn't a big loss of direction except in the maze, the teleporter maze. So that's why I really liked the design of it. It just doesn't flow very well. So my recommendation is that give it a try, see how you guys like it. But it's only memorable up to a point, and it's usually that teleporter maze. That's going to be the most memorable thing you're going to have. That and maybe the chaos button, if you really want to go that far. Other than that, don't really try it unless you want to just give it a try. It's worthy of a try, just don't go for it, expecting a whole lot of good things coming from it. And with that, I'll tally up. Meta, you gave it 3.25 stars. Kill, you gave it 3 stars. Dread, you gave it 2 3/4, and I gave it 3 stars. So yeah, it's another average map that we play. Usually with a 3-star map, we do give at least take a try on it, see how you guys feel like it. But that's up to you guys. 3 of us just don't feel like it should give another try. And with that, we're going to move on to our next one, which is called DMRs Quickie. This map had a lot of problems with it. Given it is...
It has... No. Stop it. Quit doing that. No. And I highly disagree with this map.
Okay. This map is a beta. It's a more recent one. It's only 90% done, so I was expecting a few glitches. I was expecting a few bugs. I was expecting, maybe that we can tell the person some improvements. I didn't expect what we
Start
got.
over.
It's really not that good of a map. It's a 3-part map again, but it's shorter than the previous one, which was Chaos Theory, by 30 minutes, and there wasn't as many zombies in this map. It felt easy. It felt bland. The
Meta
finale.
sounded like he was dying of boredom halfway through.
Yeah, there was boredom. Again, that's also part of the fact that we were all tired, Dread, too. There's just a lot of problems with this map that needs to be adjusted. It needs to look a lot better. There's a fact that the train we get lost in, because it's really hard to navigate through, and then until we figure it out. There is a part where I swear I was sliding and I end up falling into water, and you can't get out of it. Because even if you jump, you can't jump out of it, so it's an instant death pit. There's no way of me getting out of it. There's no way of surviving it. There's just a lot of things.
There was that glitch that Meta had where he just teleported into the safe room.
I guess.
It's not a glitch. It's a secret. It's probably just a secret passage. A way of getting into the save room.
Probably. There's
Yeah,
just a
but
couple.
someone would have had to have gone into the elevator.
But yeah, there's a couple of things that this one had a problem with. So with that, let's get the review going. 1 star minimum, 5 stars max. Number of infected, there was only 1,000. We never completed this map, so I rounded it up to 1,000 because it kind of felt like we killed that many. Meta, what'd you think about the number of infected?
How many did we kill?
I've rounded it up to 1,000 because we never got the credit sequence.
Oh yeah, we never.
We seen the
completed
finale. We pretty much completed the finale. The only problem we had with that finale was that fucking blimp.
And the tank.
And we were tired.
Well, yeah, the fact that we were tired adds to it. But
maybe 1,000 for a 3-part map. Guess it does feel quick. What's the time on it?
30 minutes. Actually, it was less when we stopped, but I rounded it up to 30 minutes.
All right then, 30 minutes for this map and about 1,000 zombies in it. Considering last map, I am very disappointed in this map. This it's still in the beta, which means it's just still use a lot of improvements. It does have something that I can't quite recall. I think I was in a drunken stupor. I could not remember.
You were at the point where you were so bored you were lost.
And you jumped off the edge at the finale.
That's also where you found that one picture that you have.
I still don't know why I was teleported into a boxed off area with pictures of Cupid lined out on the wall.
It's probably an Easter egg, and just in case the children gets you or you jump off, you're like, oh, he was dumb enough, or he accidentally, let's give him a little reward.
I remember saying, well, that's
so glad that
Easter egg.
I'm so glad that I'll be able to take a look at this really interesting piece of art while I'm being pounded into the ground by a charger. Anyway, back to a number of infected. I'm gonna give that half a star because it does feel like we just breezed right through it.
All right, go.
This map. Give it a quarter star.
All right, Dread.
I'll give it a quarter because Zombies didn't really do much. In comparison to Chaos Order, it felt like we were playing Zombies of the Caribbean.
Alright. I agree, it is a quarter star. The zombies just weren't anywhere near effective. Most of the times, if any of us
The only
died,
thing that stopped us was the tanks at the end.
well, no, it's not just that. It's the fact that most of the time, if any of us died, it was either a special infected kill us, or it was just literally the map killing us.
Or Meta just getting bored and jumping off the building.
Yeah, there was really no sense of freaking overwhelming, or it felt like it was so underwhelming that at this point we could have just said, we didn't even have to use any weapon. We just could have punched them and they died. So yeah, it's a quarter star. I'm gonna move on to length. It was 30 minutes. It was a 3-part map. Meta, what'd you think about the length?
Well, for a 3-parter, that is appropriate. So full star.
All right, Kyo.
Let's see. Thought we had a restart on this map.
No, we didn't have a restart until the very end, and that's where we gave up. We just said we've seen enough of the finale to know what happens next. So.
Let's see.
It would probably be you take forever to climb the rope, you take forever to open the blimp, and then a tank is in the blimp and punches you out and kills everyone.
That would have been hilarious, though, I have to admit.
Spawning a tank in the safe room is what basically you're describing there. That suck.
Well, no, especially on a finale, but think about it. We're on the blimp, and there's a tank in there, so we get up there, we're like, finally, this is gonna be over. And then all of a sudden there's a fucking tank, and it's like, hi, and he punches you off the fucking... And everyone's like, we can't survive.
And he spawns and drops through the ceiling after you've got on.
Anyway, keep going, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I say 3/4.
Dread.
I'll give it 3/4. It was okay, but it could have been a little lengthened. Some of that was kind of artificial because we were stuck at the trains for a few minutes.
Okay. This is where I'm going to do for you guys. I'm actually going to give it a half a star. There are 2 major reasons why. One, that train is so fucking hard to navigate through that you didn't really point it out to us. I'm going to be critical on this because navigation is almost key in any Left 4 Dead map. If you don't have it, anybody can get lost, and we've seen a lot of maps have no indication of this. A lot of them are, well, Half-Life 2 ones, but this one had it pretty bad. There was a couple instances where we were just lost trying to figure out what the fuck are we supposed to go. And then there's the finale. Oh god, that blimp. No freaking rescue vehicle should ever take more than 3 fucking minutes to get to the building.
Well, but you gotta kind of think it. Blimps are really slow.
Well, I'm not saying that blimps was designed to be that way. I'm saying it shouldn't take that fucking long in a Left 4 Dead map. If it's gonna take that long, that rescue should have started 5 minutes prior from when it did. Because, really...
Why, like have the finale start right after you get out the safe room?
Because we called for the radio. That thing should have been coming up right from there. That's the whole idea for the radio, for when a boat comes in, Swamp Fever. When the helicopters come in for Dark Carnival or No Mercy. You talk to a guy on the radio. You say, hey, we need to get out of here. So they say, okay, well, I'm here. I'm going to be there in about 10 minutes. Just give me 10 minutes. And they're supposed to be coming in 10 minutes. It took 15 minutes. At least. And we all died because the thing was still not there. It's called for the rescue. It said, get to the rescue. It shouldn't take 5 minutes for that. I mean, I've seen maps where, okay, you have to run a long way. That makes sense. This one, we're on top of a fucking building. I'm expecting, okay, if you're going to put us on a blimp, that blimp should be coming in. It shouldn't be rising off the ground anyway. So I just had a big problem. It just was slow, and even at that, when we all died, that blimp still was nowhere near that building. We were there for 3 minutes. So that is my biggest problem with this map. It needs to either go faster, or you need to rethink it and take away that blimp and add a fucking helicopter, because seriously, that is just way too damn long. And even then, that's a lot of artificial time. Between that, because that finale should have ended once we got onto that. Once we get onto the rescue vehicle, and it shouldn't have taken us more than a couple minutes just to get to that rescue vehicle. So yeah, that's my biggest harp on this length. That and the first part could be significantly shortened if we knew where we were going. If you think about it, it could have taken us a lot of time off. So anyway, with that, I'm going to move on to difficulty. Meta, what'd you think about difficulty?
I don't have a lot of memories about the difficulty, so I think I'm going to give it half a star.
Well, you were kind of bored and drunk at the time.
Okay, Kyo.
I thought it felt easy. I'll only give it a quarter star.
Dread.
I'll give it a quarter because it was a little easy. Like at the trains, there was a door that would open that has a bar right in front of it, or pretty much a pole right in front of it, and I saw a jockey get stuck on there, and I was able to kill it. So,
Well, that's part of glitches. All right. I'm gonna give it a 0. Difficulty. Meta pretty much said it. It's just not memorable. I can't remember any part of it really being difficulty enhanced until the finale, and that's really right at the finale only. There just really wasn't any place hard. There's a lot of problems with it, with glitches, and it could be part of difficulty again. But again, this is also a beta map. It's not quite finished, so I'm kind of being forgiveness on that part. But that's going into design too. The difficulty didn't feel like it was there. There really wasn't any health when we needed it until we got to the safe room. The weapons were here or there.
there were no melee weapons, not really thinking about it.
Yeah, well, actually, there was. Just you didn't see a whole lot of them. There really wasn't a whole lot of variety either. This map was kind of all over the place. I know this guy is pretty much doing a beta map, so in the future, if he does see this review, he needs to make more of a variety. He needs to lengthen it a whole lot more, take away a lot of that artificial time, stuff like that, to make it feel like it's difficult. Make it feel like, okay, we're fighting for our actual lives, not trying to go in there and we just punch a zombie, it's dead, we keep moving. Because that's what it felt like, I swear. I mean, you could have 3 people dead, and we would still make it to the safe room. It just really, the difficulty didn't seem like it was there. So, yeah, I'm giving it the 0. Moving on to design. Meta, what do you think about design?
It is still in the beta, but there were a few aspects of design that I really liked. Like the one secret entrance, the one shortcut up into the safe room on the second map.
Okay.
That's about it. I don't know, really. I don't like that this doesn't have a lot of direction. I don't like that. There are a lot of things that I just don't like about this map. It just looks bland. It doesn't give you directions on where to. It doesn't tell you how to navigate the train. It doesn't tell you where you need to go, because it kind of looks like you can go pretty much anywhere. And the water is black, which it's not supposed to look like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of problems.
And Meta even tried killing himself in the water.
Yeah.
Tried killing myself in the water and it didn't work. So,
You tried killing yourself a lot in this map.
I'm gonna give this a quarter of a star.
All right. Kyo.
I should give it no star.
All right. Dread.
No star. Everything was ugly. There was more ugly in this map than the donkey's dirty asshole. Because the only thing that was interesting was the mirror in the elevator, and that's not really that interesting, even if you can't look at yourself because apparently you're a vampire.
Listen, that's the only thing I liked about this map was that fucking mirror.
And to the creators, like, just give up, start over. This is horse shit. Stop it. Stop doing it. Stop it. Go away.
I
Go
think
in
he
your
got
corner.
it, Dread. I think he got it, okay? I'm going to give it a 0 as well. There's only a couple things I liked about this map. One was that mirror, because it's kind of cool, but yeah, you need to show everybody, not just the other players and not yourself, you know?
Vampires.
And the other thing is, I did like the try of putting a blimp into it. I'm not saying that was a big problem. It just needs to move faster. It really does.
Well, actually, there's something I just remembered that I need to add about the blimp.
Well, let me finish mine. Okay? Let me finish mine, Dread. There's just those two things. It just needs to be worked on more of those, but I like the ideas. Everything else is just fucking bland. It's just boring. It doesn't look like it's interesting. The trains, it's a nice concept, but there's no navigation. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You don't notice what you're supposed to hit to open the doors. There are places where you can glitch the game and either die or live. It's a guessing game at that point. The water, like Meta said, it's not supposed to be black. You don't die immediately in the water like you usually do when you play any other map sometimes. There's just a lot of problems with this map. I get it, it's in beta. A lot of this either needs to be worked on or you need to scrap it and retry. It's just stuff like that. Anyways, go ahead, Dred. Say what you wanted to say about the blimp.
Something I noticed with the blimp was I got a quick look at it, and the whole thing was flat. It was not three-dimensional at all. It was an ugly piece of shit that came out of a donkey's dirty asshole.
Alright.
It's like that nasty little dried out pellet of shit.
Okay. We get it, Dred. Moving on. Recommendations. Meta, do you recommend it?
Do I recommend this? I just want to apologize to all three map creators. I'm really sorry that I cannot give a better, accurate criticisms of each and every single one of your maps. I attribute this to my fatigue because it was getting so late and because we were playing 3 maps in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So if there were things that I failed to notice or there were things that you would have liked more to be elaborated on, please leave it in the comments then. I'll try to, and I'll be sure to take another look at the map whenever I get the chance. But as for recommendation, no. It is still in the beta, so I guess the only way to really get this out of beta is to play it as much as you possibly can and find every single little bug in it.
Mm-hmm.
Which there are plenty to be found and there are plenty of criticisms to be had. I know I'm not wrong about it being confusing to navigate. So I can't give this a recommendation because it just feels overall bland.
Alright. Kyo.
No recommendation can be given.
Alright. Dred.
No recommendation. Not unless you like looking at ogre shit.
Dred, I think you're being way too hard on the author.
Well, this map is bad. He needs to get out, go to his corners, sit for a little while, and then make a better one.
He's being so fucking hard, even though this is a fucking beta map. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna give it a 0 as well. It's not recommendable as it is right now. This is almost being in still alpha stages that it's really, really bad to recommend it. It needs a lot of work. It needs to be a little bit more difficult. It needs to take away a lot of that artificial time. It needs to work on some of the innovation it had. It needs to work on navigation. It needs to work on detail. It needs to work on just a lot of things, plus to get rid of those glitches, get rid of those bugs. Overall, it just needs a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of time to get it done. I know it says 90% complete. Right now, it's 50% complete in my eyes. It just isn't quite there to be a playable map.
And it also needs some help with placement and items, because, like, right at the beginning, you get, like, tier 2 weapons, and that pretty much kills the
I could forgive that, though, Dread. I'm saying that he needs just to work on it. If he's putting tier 2 weapons in the beginning, that's fine, because it's a beta map. He's just testing out, seeing if it's overpowered or not. That's just stuff you test out in general. Yeah, this map needs a whole lot of overhaul work. It's going to take a lot longer than I'm thinking than the author's thinking. Overall, it's not anywhere near to be done. It's nowhere near that 90% that it's saying. Maybe the idea is 90% done, just not executing it. It's there. It's maybe 50%. A lot of the things do work. The safe rooms are working. The guns are at least working pretty fine, I guess. But everything is working outside of what he's trying to make is working fine. He just needs to work on the design of the whole entire map. It's just very bland. It's very boring. Nothing new. It's just very generic, and it's to a point.
This guy needs to go sit in the corner with the guy who made Town Escape.
No, to be fair, this is better than Town Escape.
Slightly.
No, it's actually better, because we've rated Town Escape as probably one of our lowest rated. It was like a half a star from all of us. This one has gotten more fucking star ratings from all of us already.
Still, he needs to go sit in his corner and think about what he's done.
Okay, Dread. Anyway, I'm gonna go to star ratings. Meta, you gave it 2.25. Keo, you gave it 1.25. Dread, you gave it 1.25, and I gave it 3/4 of a star. Yes, we harped on a lot of the issues, the design, the difficulty, the infected being spawned. These are big things that you need to work on. The length is pretty average. If you could keep that length and take away the artificial time, it would be almost perfect. It's just overall, it's just really, really bland. It needs more work. So
need to clean out some of the shit in here. It's starting to stink.
Meta, do your thing.
Alright, like, comment, and subscribe. All your comments will help us to be better at what we do, and it's the only way we will possibly ever get better, so.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
And to the authors, please PM us with anything you want to elaborate on. If you want to tell Meta, he is part of my friends list on my channel. You can actually see him. It'll say his name literally on there. Same with Keo and Dread and myself. Just PM us on whatever you want us to elaborate on, whatever we did on your review. And I hope you enjoy the videos. I will decide if I want to break this up or just leave it as one big fucking video. It depends on how time looks on it. So anyways, I hope you enjoy.
The developer of the last map is probably going to hate the ever-loving shit out of me.
No kidding, Dread. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. And to the author of DMRs Quickie, if you hate Dread, welcome to the club. See you later.